Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad Supercoach Pro. Today we are doing the round 12 Supercoach team review. We'll make it a quick one. We didn't do too well this week. We scored a mediocre 1786 and dropped rank down to 79. Previous week with 38. So lost a little bit of ranking there. Did some wild last minute trades and yeah, one of them paid off and the other two probably not. But I was using one for cash gen purposes and trying to max out my cash gen upgrade cadence. So get stuck in the side. We were actually having a really bad week come Sunday in terms of Supercoach, so we had to do a few risks here. But we'll start with the first one. Going off with Sinclair, he had a really huge big half. I'm sure you've heard a million reviews already. So doing a hump day Wednesday one, you've probably all heard about these players. But he had a really good start, and then Zorko, 66. Coleman being out for 5 weeks, this probably helps the Zorko type. So he drops the occasional stinker. Hopefully Flex knocks this out of the way after, these bye rounds are done. Clark, again, he's been a great pod. He's sort of my Dale versus Clark matchup, I think, most weeks. So he's been really good for me as a starting pick. He's so cheap, though. Like, if you're not jumping on him next week, it's Naz as well. Sheasel, what role will we get? Who knows? It's Clarko. So, yeah, we get him back this week, which is one that some people jumped off, and I see the reason why. Roberts, for what we paid, averaging 95. I can't really complain about this pick. Regarding, a starting pick for a mid-price, so he's fine. Like, you can literally pay 50 grand up for Naz if you needed to next week. So there's no harm in Roberts as a placeholder. Look, he probably wasn't the huge keeper that we thought, but he's at worst D6. And look, honestly, I've seen a lot of big teams and a lot of, 10K, 15K sides that won't be able to finish their sides, and they'll have to hold a Roberts anyway. So it's not the worst guy. It just gets a rookie off the field who probably scores 50 down back anyway. So, Trainer, he's got to go. 28 there, held him. But I got rid of the other poor rookies, which we'll go into in a second. Baz, I took the captaincy cadence on him. I sort of did a Twitter poll to get feelers out to see what people thought. And the risk reward for my team, I sort of had to do something and hope that he wasn't going to get subbed out. Looked really good in the first quarter, finished with 129. I'm pretty sure, he's bounced back a little bit. Again, he's just under the sub 600K, so I don't know how people bring in Bont. I've floated with the idea too, but I'm just not sure if I can afford it to break my side. I get Richards and Cherry back this week, which is handy too. I also get, who was it? Bolton is out this week, so I get Daniel back. Cherry back, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I get Rosie back 5, and there was a 6, and I believe that was Sheasel. So I took a hit, almost scored 1,800 with 6 primos out. So on a best 18 week, that would have been okay generally, but there's so many 1,900 and 2,000 scores as well that sort of made me drop a little bit. So I had a little bit of a lead on the competition just with the games I've been having when it's been best 22. So sides that aren't complete sort of get kissed in best 18 because I'm sort of one step of primo ahead most weeks. So now that we're best 18, all the dodgy sides that get away with this dead benches, including some of my picks, of course, get a bit of a points differential on you, especially if they haven't loaded up in a specific buy. And I loaded up in this round 12 buy, which might not pay off, but I guess we'll see in a 5-week block is probably the better way to look at your buys, and 2,000 is probably where you want to score every buy. If you can maintain that, you're going to shoot up in the ranks. Merritt 93, going to the back line. Like, Scott's just so confusing where he wants to play Merritt. I don't like this pick if people are trading him and Rosie as well. He's probably a good trade in. You'd think if Portato could actually play some decent football. Warner 58 went at like 20-something, 20% disposal efficiency. Which is frustrating. Like, he had a few tackles where he wasn't rewarded the points for as well. So sick of the umpires actually not rewarding tackles anymore. It's just play on, and throws are getting just thrown out the water at the moment. They're just playing throws. It's really frustrating as a AFL watch, when you're watching other sides. Caldwell was the guy brought in last minute with Day Wicks. I sort of heard a lot of rumours about Stewart, and this is what I hate about rumours, is generally they are just rumours. Being laid out, but I didn't want to risk it in the Sunday game because we know what Scott's like. So, took the punt on Cardwell, had to get some value somewhere. Don't know what he averaged from here on out, but he's a fine M8, held Lindsay and held Hewitt. This is where it gets a little bit funny. So, I had to get rid of Bice, so he was out of my side. Lucky, again, I did because he got subbed off. Cleary I had to actually get rid of last minute because he was subbed, and I didn't want to lose cash off him. That was also the right move. But what we did in doing so it was actually fine on the Saturday, bringing Kybon and Day Wicks because Day Wicks' score wasn't going to count. Well, so I thought. I then added up and realised that Trainer and Daywicks' score will count, so I had to reverse my trades, bring back Lindsay, bring back Hewitt. And then I only had 350k to play with because I end up punting one more player. I'll have a look at my trade history. And yeah, as you can see, we've punted on Neil. So I'll just take you real quick into why you're seeing a rank 70, whatever I am, 79 with Shannon Neal. So what happened was my Daywicks and my trainer scores were going to count. So flipped Bias, flipped Cleary, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to leave Hewitt and what's his name, Winsey on my field. So who can I get rid of to make up an extra warm body? So by bringing in Neil for Henderson, it got rid of Trainer's score, and then by holding Hewitt, it got rid of Daywicks' score. So you're probably thinking, why did he do that? But it was literally just to get those 20s out of my field because I was looking for a 1600 score here. If I hadn't have taken a punt on Baz being captain, and then not getting rid of those 20s in my cycle, I'd be 100 points short, roughly, maybe even a little bit more. I haven't worked out the math, but I'd be looking at it almost as 1650 and would probably be out of the top 300-400. So I had to take a few risks considering we had 6 primos out. I had nothing I could really do. So took a pick on Neil, and the issue with Neil was he was a key forward, so understood the risk reward. He had ruck hit outs, as I was hearing about on Shorty's stream, which I wasn't keen on this bloke, obviously. He did make 40k, so he had a negative break even of 33, so I had to take a punt somewhere to remain in the rankings of the top 100. So, yeah, I probably did whatever I could to stay there, and hoping now that I've got only 5 players out this week that I can make up some ground, but I feel most sides probably have 3 to 5 primos out on this bye. And this is what makes it tricky this week, so I'm a little bit torn what to do. Now, Lindsay can stay a week or he can flick. Hewitt's bought himself another week or two, so this is nice that he actually gets over 300. Lindsay finally paid the refaith of making some more money too, because remember, we could have got rid of him before to bring in Cherry before his big game against Brisbane. And yeah, we had to make him fatten some cash, and it's kind of paying off now, but also the points lost, that was huge. Anyway, I'm diverting elsewhere. So Gorn, I've seen him trade out a lot of sides right now. I think it's desperation out of cash because a lot of people have been sidewaysing all season, like Tokyo Drift. So they're using his cash because they literally have dead benches, and I'm in a similar boat, but probably a little bit privileged. I don't have to actually do that route. Marshall, again, he's my flex, so he's okay. I haven't really decided if I will keep him in my flex because it does handcuff you having 3 rucks in terms of flexibility throughout the season. Petrarca, it's okay for what we paid for. And then Rankin, yeah, he should really cashed in on a 90-point thumping for Sydney, which is concerning for Sydney going forward. Wardner probably has a bounce-back game. Wouldn't actually mind chucking a VC on Roberts or Warner, to be honest, if I had the kahunas to do it. Probably not in a position now to do those sort of things. But Bolton, he's been looking good for what he is. Again, people trading him out, I'd probably hold. I think he's actually looked really good, and he might actually be my F6 anyway. Marrick's got to go. You can point out all the statistics you want, but we can never really read into some of these new coaches going forward and on what they want to do with the side. They can be so reactionary, just like ourselves in Supercoach. So, yeah, stats aside, I think we've got to take a look at. Yeah, we can stat check DFS or kick-ins or all sorts of things, but the eye test comes down to sometimes, all right, who they're bringing in for this player. No one would have expected Jarrell or whatever his name is, Dwella. I don't even know. 150k rookie that's been a sub-cannon or whatever, taking kickouts instead, and Marek playing on the wing. Then Dempsey scores a goal against Marek. I can't remember if it was the third or fourth quarter. I think it was the fourth, and that was it. Mini had enough of him. So, yeah, he's got a huge break even. If only we had, again, cashed him out at 489k. But sometimes you do get roped into reading some things, and like we're all accountable anyway, so no one's blaming anyone for holding certain picks. But like you got to make your own decision at the end of the day. And mine was to hold him because I thought honestly that he'd actually get his role back, but clearly we can't trust that with Mini. And it's actually a pretty good thing getting rid of a West Coast player. I'm sick of watching West Coast games, to be honest. But Hewitt, he's been like one of those players, you watch him and he just doesn't get the points that you thought he would. You look at him, he's scored a 58, have a really huge first half and then just disappear because, again, he just sits on the bench. And yeah, Neil, I'd probably get rid of him in the next couple of weeks, can hold him. He's got the last buy, so not sure what I'll do with him yet. Daniel comes back, so I think he's a great price. So people punted him. This is my same theory after that 50 game, and then he went, a couple 90s after that, and he had the Richmond game. So, yeah, it's a strange year, but people are going to be desperate. So, well, at the moment, I know the theory is to buy the players that just had their buy, obviously, but sometimes you got to weigh that up with value. And everyone plays it a different way. Like, there's so many different strategies you can do this, and there's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever suits your structure better. You can ask people for their opinions, but they don't actually know your second and third week plan anyway. So I take things with a grain of salt when I'm asking these Twitter polls or people's opinions, because they actually don't know what I'm going to do moving forward. And to be fair, I only ever look at 1 or 2 weeks ahead, not really 4-week guy. I've never really been that guy. Too many variables, as I've said before, but Stewart for the value to finish off my back line. Not that I need an extra defender, but I just think he's a guy that can average 100. Have to partner him up with Mills, I'd say, if I'm going to do this. Now, I haven't worked out if I'm going to just go and grab this West Coast rookie. I know he hasn't played, but these rookies aren't going to play for me anyway. I just need a warm body on the field. I need as much DPP as possible on my side too, so I couldn't really care less about, what's his name? The 113k rookie in Essendon, Clark. If he becomes a dead rookie at some point, he sort of stuffs me up. So here's the debate, I suppose. It's like, shouldn't bring in Stewart as the last buy. I understand that completely. But I've got three ones that, he was a rookie. Let's just count Mark as rookie because we bought him in for like 260k. Some delusional world, I thought he was going to be a keeper here. But, I mean, his last month of footy has been pretty shocking for scores in terms of what we actually think's a viable keeper, and then I've got Warner and Rankin doing something similar. So, not highest price, but if we had to look at this point where we're going, we're probably not going Heaney. Dunks is dead because of that. He's doing some tag and rolls. Sarong's at his buy. Could go Dacos, but he's got the buy next weekend, so it kind of doesn't make sense. But the one I'm sort of looking at is, do you run Cripps versus Dacos? Cripps has an extra game. He's got a little bit easier fixture going forward. 5 round average 109. Dacos 5 round average is actually 96 and a 103 average round for 3 rounds as compared to Cripps' 107. So, probably go Cripper would make more sense. I can, he plays the rest of the buys. A little bit of a pod. Technically, I should probably get a cash cow and Clark, but it means if I did that, I'm sort of in this weird position, like, let's say, just hypothetically, I grab a Clark and I want cashed in, and you sort of really got to cross your fingers and hope he plays, because you think West Coast play that rookie regardless. What's his name? Same amount of money. So this is the issue. I had 107k. We grab Essendon here. Clark. I got questions about Clark on Sunday night. I was losing my mind because I was like, he's got a buy, and then I forgot that I actually told him about a rookie. So apologies to those people, but we've been streaming most nights during the week when we can as well. This is what's the awkward thing. I could go Cashcow and skip McCarthy if he gets named, by the way. I just feel like there's some good mid-season draft players that teams are going to be desperate to use, and I'd rather that flexibility over anything else. So 523k would leave me with a Holmes, but that buy sucks. Matt Rao, I can afford to grab a player of that buy round as well if I wanted to get Matt Rao. So I've got to weigh up. Do I want Cripps and a rookie not on the bubble and hold McCarthy trade? Do I grab an LDU? He's been a bit mediocre, of course. We already know that. Sam Walsh, these CBAs aren't high enough for me. They're at like 50-something%. I wouldn't think about Crisps. I don't know why there's an S in there. Holmes is obviously there again, but I've already got Stewart there. Scrolling down, not too much else I like, really. Josh Kelly, I've been mentioned a few times, but he's just too injury prone for me. Bloke gets out of bed and catches a cold, and he'll miss a week sort of player. And then, ideally, if Nas didn't have the bye this week, he would be the guy I like. Something to really weigh up. I don't really like anything at this price point is my issue. I just got that extra bit of money. I could get a Rao, but again, I think just if Clark became a dead rookie, it would really annoy me. And we know what Scott's like with It's an ins and outs. I think he's playing a bit of a wing role. And again, I'm not going to use these rookies as players I need in my side. I mean, that's exactly what the flex is for. If there's a way out, that's what they're going to cover. So I'm thinking of probably just doing that with a Cripper type. I'll try to make this one as quick as possible, but what I'll do is show you what it'll look like hypothetically. Again, I could do something else. Like I've been, as you do, I've got like probably 30 or 40 screenshots of different different trades in my trade options. This one again is value DPP and a guy that I think could be a fine MMA just with the run got going forward. I can't get Cripps as a defender. That's a shame. Anyway, what it'll leave me with, this is a pain, isn't it, when this stuff happens? How did it even actually let you select that is beyond me. So, I generally hate this part of Supercoach on how tedious this thing can actually be. It decides 1 minute it wants to work for you, then the next minute it selects it as a defender. I don't know if you guys cop the same issues, but let's try this and we'll wrap the video up as fast as we can. So please just confirm. All right, so take 2 of that. So how it look, I suppose, people breaking their teams for Bond. Don't you worry, I've tried to do that too, but I'm not sure if I can actually do that. It makes it very tricky. We're still half of season 3 too. There's so much catching up that teams can make, and if we do the right moves, we could probably gain some territory. But if we also just sideways season, we might just cop it in the back end of the rounds after the buys. So how would actually look, and just on paper, I suppose, let's put Brayshaw and Sinclair back there as well. We'll chuck Warner forward. I still can't believe I've got Neil in here. I don't generally talk about a player in the last minute bringing me in out of desperation. So that was a desperation play and probably not worth it. But I suppose I'm really playing for a top place here, at least top 10 at very minimal for where I think I can go. So I think you just got to risk reward, and if you're not first, you're last. Honestly, in this game, and I'm giving it a red hot crack. Sorry, I am absolutely knackered today. So this is how to look. The back 6 is done. I need an M8 here, I suppose. The forward line's done, so I actually have to, funnily enough, hold Bolton. Marshall could be flagged, so I've still toyed with getting rid of a Marshall. But my forward line would be okay just as is. And then obviously I could trade Shewitt and Neil. What about me? It isn't fair. I've had actually enough of that pick already. I could trade these 2, downgrade one to a 100k rookie, and grab a 500k player next week and finish off M8, which I'd actually probably swing Shees to the midfield and actually just grab Nas to finish off the side. And it means I'd have Sheasel here. I don't think I'd have a forward swing. I still got Day Wicks here. That's the other reason we actually bought in Day Wicks, was some forward DPP. If I needed to swing a forward up, I could. So the only reason I didn't go Gray is because if Weeks a dead rookie and I put Gray here and he becomes drop 2, then I can't leave him down back at D8 because there's no good coverage there because Weeks not playing. And then if I leave him at forward for Gray, it tied me out with Simpson as well. So I actually needed a mid-forward swing instead of the other way around. So that is purely the only reason I didn't go Gray, that and that Bolter factor. So a bit of a longer one explaining things in a little bit more detail than I like to do. But again, a new camera. So this is the new camera that I'm working with now. So I'm not looking like I'm filming out of a Nokia anymore. So yeah, thanks to Rookie Coach for sending me that link for that one. And we should be good to go for the live stream on Saturday night after dark. I might do a sneaky live stream before then, of course, at about midnight. As you know, I love a good midnight stream. Again, thanks for watching. This will premiere at 6 p.m. tonight. So if you are watching this, I'll be in the comments lurking. And enjoy this one. Let me know your trade plans. So I haven't been getting back to many ideas on Twitter as lately when you're giving me team shares. I'm getting spammed at the moment, so it's very hard to keep up with. But again, give us a like, give us a sub if you like to follow this journey. And it's been a good one so far, and hopefully we stay that top 100. You get notified otherwise anyway, I'm sure. So again, enjoy. I'll catch you on the next.